start at the degree of our rising sign, way over on the other side, on the left-hand side of the chart, and then the clock starts ticking and we go through all of our life right down at the bottom of the wheel, and then we start coming up the other side. And so from the age of 36, you start coming up the other side. So you've met all of those characters in your deeper self, some of them in your unconscious self, with the volume turned right up on them, because they're always working, but when you actually go over them on the age point, you do feel them very strongly. And there would have been all hell let loose, I think, between the ages of 42 and 48. And however, within you, there's this need to dig and delve and get to the bottom line, get to the nitty-gritty, and get rid of all the crap. So you're very good. It's the house to do with regeneration. In fact, it's the death and rebirth house, the 8th house. And so you're very good at coming into a situation that needs somebody to put it back up on its feet again. The vibration, it's a vibration, like the wind or the sun. It's just a vibrational energy. So you can use that in many ways. And depending on the maturity of your soul, you will use it in this way or that way. So somebody might just like doing up old furniture, and putting that back up on its feet again. And somebody will like to come along and take a business that's nearly gone bankrupt and get that running again. Or somebody else will want to come along and get somebody who's in burnout and on their knees and practically suicidal and put them back up on their feet again and get their lives running forward. So that's all 8th house stuff. And that's the vibrational energy that is that you're working in. And so you need to find that common denominator, because when you find that, it's like a skeleton key that unlocks many doors. And then you want to distill things, you want to synthesize things, you want to bring them down to simple concepts to give you a key insight, because it's also a very insightful house. And then when you just hit on that key theme, that key insight, you've got it. And then you give this total commitment, and this it can be a bit blinkered actually, as well, to drive something forwards. And you can be very stubborn and even a bit bolshy and definitely irreverent, but you'll have a lot of willpower.
I always strive to be irreverent.
We aim to please. And it's almost compulsive. It can be, but then we're edging into the negative side of the vibration. It's still that sound, but it's kind of slightly out of tune. And so, so you're the man that can come in, be the bridge in maybe the life of somebody in transition who is going through something very difficult, or business, or you choose anything, and you can get it to turn around. You're very good in crisis. People who have 8th house vibration are very good at being there as a support in maybe a crisis situation or a dramatic situation. And because you've got this Aquarian rising thing, I think you're going to be coming into your own as the age of Aquarius starts to heat up. And of course it is set to be here for 2,000 years. So we're in the very, 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 very edge of the beginning of it. But your life is definitely not going to be the same as other people's, because the lives of Aquarian rising sun or sun and moon people never is. And you will... you love change. You have this instinct for when you have mastered something, outgrown something, and you need to move on. And that feeling is it's not so much a restlessness, it's more of a kind of an inner knowing, a knowing deep in your gut that something's over, finished, done with, and it's not relevant anymore. And so it's like snake, because the 8th house is like snake energy. Snakes periodically shed their skin and kind of slither out into birth into a new time. So these are cycles, and the astrologer can tell you when these cycles, what stage of the cycle that you're at, beginning, middle, end. Also, the 8th house is about material things, financial things. So money, finances, business, that will play a big part in your approach to life. And also it's important to you to feel like you're pulling together with others, so you're very good at working in a team as well, I would say. And so there will have been experiences along the way where, you know, it's been good working together with other people and pulling in a team, and where and times when you really do clash with those other people's values, because that's usually the time when you're beginning to start shedding that particular skin from that particular cycle, because you're getting ready to move into something new. It's also a very sensitive house. So even though you don't have very many sensitive planets, because that's to do with water, and you haven't got a lot of water energy in your chart, the house itself is a very watery house. So that means that you will feel things quite deeply, but you can disguise and camouflage very, very well. How am I doing here, Mike?
Doing pretty good.
Have I blown you out of the water yet, or are you still with me?
No, I'm still with you, but here's a question for you. As far as my future...
You don't want me to say anymore.
No, it's okay.
Future, yes.
As far as my future goes, what are the prospects of me being a shy, retiring hermit and living in the wilderness somewhere?
I would say that they were less than zero. No. Less than zero. I was looking at your chart with you, and I pointed out something, because I haven't got your chart in front of me at the moment. I think I said it was going to come around about 57, 58, wasn't it? Anyway, you're coming up to a time where you're going to have a very high profile. You know, you're going to be at work, putting your philosophical and spiritual beliefs, applying them in the field big time. And you're going to be very strong on the level of communications. And I know you are already, but this is going to be, you know, the time when you're really needed to put your mouth where your heart and your philosophy of life is. So you're in the run-up to that now. Definitely in the run. And you'll be having, I know you have contact with people from many countries, but I think there's going to be more. And I think it's going to be very, very busy for a few years. And yes, of course, you do need your retreat space. You do need your privacy. That is fundamental to you keeping your power and raising your power. I just wanted to go on to say that actually the 8th house is all about deep intuition and a spirituality. There will be an urge for you to know what's in your deep soul, your deep ancient self, and to get some kind of connection with that. So whether you do or you don't, you're still going to be coming into this very busy time. But if you do manage to do that, and if you're working on that now, maybe going into yourself, maybe sitting in the quiet and centering yourself, then you're going to be all the more effective at helping. Because the bottom line with Virgo is that they're here to be servants to humanity and to help other people. And so if you do that, if you put that self-discipline in place and do make that connection, then who knows?